keep my cool, this will be a disaster. So, no, honey, go check this. I cannot see the folders. Okay, no problem. Go check that. And all of a sudden, we have a presentation. But how much can we say that we can keep our cool when things happen to us? It's really hard, isn't it? So, wow, my adrenaline is going down right now, but it was like up to the top. Our talk tonight is going to be about the one to the last chapter of the book, Our Road to Damascus, from Daniel Azizi. And it talks about the shift in self and its goals. Because if there's something that human beings want, is to have a stable life, isn't it? And when you think about your ECG, if you have a stable line over there, what that tells you? You're dead. Life is made of ups and downs and ups and downs, and that's how our heartbeat beats. Otherwise, you'll be dead. So we are not made for stability. We are made for conquer the peaks and deal with the low, with the valleys. What we can do is just make it shorter, right? Like if I got a little bit discouraged, by now I'll be like, oh my God, what did I wrote? So of course we don't need too much of the PowerPoint, but it's a visual aid and makes you feel comfortable. So it happens, or it helps for you to ease when you are in the valley and the sun's on the peak and you're feeling cold. So the metaphors probably serves better than try to explain in the technical terms. What is our ever-changing Damascus? Damascus that Saul envisioned arriving was significantly different to the one which Paul arrived. For Saul, Damascus was the end of his journey. For Paul, was the beginning of the journey. So normally, when we go to do something, or we go to some place, we have an expectation about this place. But sometimes the journey to go to this place make us change the expectation, meaning that the place changed inside of us, in our brain. It didn't change whatsoever physically, but it's all about perception. We're creatures of perception. Perception is the name of the game. However you perceive somebody, however you understand somebody, that's the way you're going to classify him or her. And it's going to be hard to change. It is possible, but it's going to be hard to change. When we should be open to the unexpected, adaptable in the face of change, and willing to embrace new opportunities that may come our way. When everything happens the way we don't understand, and I swear I didn't do this on purpose, but it's all tied up to what I just told you. When something totally unexpected happens to you, be open to it. You're going to deal with that in a different way. You're going to deal with that in you're going to see opportunities like I'm seeing right now, because everything's getting together and my brain's going like too fast right now, trying to put all the thoughts together. But this is an opportunity to start in a different way with something that just happened right now. So if you understand your troubles and your problems as a difficulty, they're not problems anymore, are they? If you understand that things can change in the course of the time that you're going from point A to point B, maybe point B is not point B that you envisioned when you were at point A. And that's okay. But we want everything to be so equal, or so the way we envision, that sometimes we get discouraged. The journey we think will lead us to what we seek has the power to change what we want. The journey we think will lead us to what we seek has the power to change what we want. Sometimes we seek something, but we don't want that something. We want something that is behind the impression of whatever you want. Like when you are young, you want a lot of things, right? From a new sneaker, for a racket, tennis, or something that is totally, if it doesn't come now, if it doesn't show up by the time that I go to the tennis course, I don't want it anymore. And all of a sudden, one day after, the tennis racket's there, and say, now I don't want it. Why? It's still a tennis racket. It was still something that you seek. What changed in that matter? You change. Your perception change. Your vision change. Just because it's something that happens the way you didn't understand or not prepared or not open to. So, Daniel calls the flowing river a personal development. Well, why the flowing river? Because everything flows, right? Energy flows. Anything that we stop will die. So, as Saul sits in the small room waiting for something to happen, he thinks. Think about. He was the almighty power, Saul, the golden boy from the Sanhedrin. He was full of people trying to make him feel comfortable. He was venerated for someone's. And all of a sudden he started talking about Jesus, and it seems like he contracted a leper. Nobody wants to talk to him. And besides that, he was blind. Oh, he couldn't see anything. And besides that, he was alone. Because the only one that took him to his room just depart, because he was afraid to stay with him, be related to Jesus, and get his head chopped. Just because. So the only thing he could think was how much the world has changed in a matter of days. How much our world changed in a matter of days. How much our world changed in a matter of hours. And sometimes how much the world changed in a matter of minutes. That's not my friend over there putting this presentation here. I'll be in the pickle. It was 5 minutes? Give it a take? How much my world changed in 5 minutes? I was certain that everything was cool and it was not. But then in 5 minutes, everything changed again. I was sit and waiting. Thank God I was not blind. He departed as mighty and powerful and arrived as wandering and blind man. There is nothing that he can do to change his condition at this point. So, when you cannot do anything to change your condition or somebody else's condition, what can you do? I'm going to give you a hint. Most of the prayers on the Spirit Center ends with this sentence. What can you do? So be it. If that cannot change, I cannot change. It's not something that, and there's an excuse for something. But if I cannot change you, and newsflash, guys, we don't change anybody. The only creature that we can change in this world is us. Even Jesus, the almighty power, said that the only thing that he couldn't change in planet Earth was humans. Because we have what we call free will. So the only thing that he could do when he was blind and thinking about everything that happens to him was sit and wait. And how hard is that for us sometimes? How hard is to sit and wait? How hard is to have faith on something that we don't know? We have a lot of people here that had a lot of stories about faith. And sit and wait. But it's not sit and wait in a matter of, oh, God's going to save me. That is a flood. God's going to save me. The flood comes to the first floor. I go to the second. Come on, get out of here. No, God's going to save me. The flood got to the second floor. I'm going to the third. They come with the boat. Come on, get out of here. No, God's going to save me. I go to the bell. All of a sudden, I see God. He's right in front of me. God, why didn't you save me? Well, I tried. One too many times. You didn't want to leave. So it's a matter of perception. It's a matter of how you see your endpoint. It has to change. Because we are changing creatures. We're not made for stability. Do we have audio there? Do we have audio, guys?
Any jail cell in the world.
So let me go back for a sec.
You are about to hear a strange but true story. Legend has it, Harry Houdini, the master magician, once claimed that he could break out of any jail cell in the world. All he had to do was walk into that jail cell with his street clothes on. I'll be out of there in 1 hour, no problem, he said. Well, a very old jail down south heard about Houdini's claims, and they accepted his challenge. On the day of the event, many people gathered outside. Very confidently, Houdini walked right into the jail and into the cell, and they shut the metal doors behind him. The first thing Houdini did was he took off his coat. Then, very strangely, he took off his belt. Secretly hidden in Houdini's belt was a 10-inch piece of steel, very tough and very flexible, and Houdini started working. In about 30 minutes, that confident expression Houdini had when he walked in disappeared. In 1 hour, he was bathed in sweat. And at the end of 2 hours, Houdini, in defeat, collapsed against the door, which then opened. It opened because, you see, that door had never been locked. But that's not entirely true, is it? That door was locked. It was firmly and thoroughly locked in Houdini's mind, which meant it was locked as if the best locksmith in the world had put his lock on it. The mind is powerful. How many doors in your life do you think are locked but aren't? How many times have you been stuck in the mental prison of overthinking something that really had a simple solution? There is an ancient African proverb that says, when there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. Your mind is the most powerful force you will ever face. It will tell you lies. It will tell you you can't do that. You're not meant for that. You're not good enough for that. You can't go on anymore. You don't have the energy. You must thank it for its opinion and carry on. Because like Houdini showed us, the only locked doors that exist are in your own mind. The doors in reality are open. And all you have to do is walk through.
So are we ready to walk through the doors that we shut? Do we have what it takes? What it takes to open those doors. There's no right or wrong. You can shout it out. What it takes to open doors that we think that are closed, and maybe they're not. What do you think?
Just try to open it.
Huh?
Just try to open it. Go for it.
Yeah. Attitude, right? Vision without action equals hallucination. Right? It takes faith. It takes faith that that can happen. And mostly, and most of all, it takes faith on you that you can do it. Because you close the door, you shut it, you lock it. You are the one who has to unlock it. You have the key. But until you realize that you do have the key and you do have the power, it's still locked. Ongoing transformation and ever-growing perspective. We have to have this faith on us that we can grow every time, in any situation, with everything that happens to us, just because we are willing to change our perspective of things, understanding of things. Life is 10% what happens, and 90% what you do with that. Because if you are really okay with you, a lot of curveballs can come and you do absolutely no harm to you. But it depends on how much you understand yourself, how much you believe in yourself. That is a passage that I never find again. Believe me, I flipped this book up and down many times. It happens one time in the fraternal counseling. We have a little prayer and read normally the minutes of wisdom. And that is one chapter here that says one thing like this. God believes in you. He believes in you. If you don't believe in yourself, then you don't believe in God. And that's like, oh, really? It's hard. But if He believes in you, how dare you don't believe in yourself? Have you ever tried? Have you ever do it? Keep on doing it. Persist. And you see that good things happen. Not the way we want. Not the way we see Damascus. Learn that the Damascus that you see is not the one that you're going to find out. But you probably can find out something real better than what you foresee in the beginning, if you had the faith and the trust on you. It is one that can change the idea of change ever so subtle from means to an end and to an end in itself. It's not what you made out of the journey, but it's the end of the journey that you're looking for. It's what's going to happen to yourself, what you're going to turn up to. Are you willing to change? And you know what we don't like to change? Because change is uncomfortable. I'm so good as I am. I rarely see some flaws besides my belly, my ribs. I don't see too many flaws. We choose the lie that most fits to us, right? And this way we just keep on going. Face it. If you change, good things will happen. If you're still doing the same, it's the Science of Insanity by Einstein. Doing the same thing over and over and trying to get a different result. It won't happen. Change is just a vehicle for something. So embrace change. Although it hurts, although it makes you uncomfortable, change is just a vehicle for something. What you do when you physically need to change You have a lot of stuff in your home and you are by yourself. What you do? What you do? You need to change. You go from LB McLeod to OBT or to, I don't know, Lake Nona. What you gonna do? You're gonna rent a car or a truck, right? But you're gonna do it yourself, everything. So what you gonna do? You're gonna ask for help in a physical change from point A to point B. We ask for help because we can deal with the whole, but we don't ask for help when you need to change inside. Why? Do you think you can do it all? If you can, please take my position here because I don't. So you better than me. At least you better than me. But if you don't think you can deal with all the burden, with all the heaviness of the furniture that you have inside yourself, understand something. Your brain is an expensive real estate. Don't allow any thoughts to live there without paying rent. What is a rent? You will decide. But if you let bad thoughts to live inside your brain out of nothing, that's what you're going to get. Nothing. Don't let any invaders to get your beautiful real estate and make big damage. Think about it. Change is just a vehicle for us to change our perspective, the thoughts that are coming inside our brain, and that will direct our attitudes, will direct the next actions. Sometimes we also recognize that our goals lose the sparkle with times as we work around them. And that is completely okay. Because we were seeing something that doesn't exist. And our point of view or our perspective just changed. I thought that I would be the best in something, but there's somebody better than me. So what? Then I'm going to give up because I'm only going to do something if I'm the best? Or I'm going to try to keep up to my expectations and do the best that I can. Not that he can. He can be better than me. I'm never going to get a discharge of lightning over me and be alive. And there's somebody here that is alive. Dude, don't even talk about this. But there's some things that happens to people, and if you try to compare, it's at least silly. Compare yourself to yourself. The best fight is against yourself. Keep on going. Keep on changing. Embrace change. They were based on something we knew and wanted at that time. So the sparkle just goes down because at the time of the beginning of the journey, we want something. But in the middle of the journey, that something was not that shiny. That something was not that attractive. So am I wrong to change my end game or my end destination? I'll give it to you. I think I'm not, but I give it to you. You think? But something changed. We cannot step into a river twice. Why? Because you're not the same person tomorrow. As a matter of fact, you're not the same person when you leave here. You came with some thoughts, you leave with the different thoughts. You're not the same person. So we don't bathe in the same river twice, even though we're getting to the same point of the river. But the water is not the same. It's flowing, and you are not the same as well. A caterpillar, in order to be a butterfly, has to come to a change. And this is a metaphor also for business. Because when you talk about processes, people like start having goosebumps. Oh my God, I hate processes. Don't talk about processes. That's a process. Without a process, the caterpillar will never gonna be a butterfly. And the process hurts, has a lot of pain, it's dark. But in the end, there goes a butterfly that a caterpillar never, ever dream of being. Flying from walking on the dirt to flying above everything, it's beautiful. But it needs a process, it needs a change. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. So we need to walk, be skilled hikers, and walk towards a higher purpose. Experience changes to skilled hikers, and skilled hikers often see better paths to follow along the journey. They tend to focus on building things rather than achieving things. Think about it. Oh, but a hiker aims to go to the top of something. Yeah, but he's building friendship. He's building a lot of things. The skilled one is not too much interested in finishing. But the journey with somebody is something that is dear to his heart. Follow our hearts more than our pockets and our ego. It's hard because we need to have money to exist, to survive. But sometimes it's not the pocket that is talking to you. Sometimes it's the lack of heart that is talking to you. And if you do have a lack of heart, a lack of belief in yourself, a lack of faith, all the money in the world will not going to do it. And chances are that you're probably going to lose it all. As a matter of fact, who here ever thought in winning the lotto? Right? Whoever here plays lotto? Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes won't do it. Right? Won't do it. You're going against your odds all the time. But that's how we understand things. It's not a faith. It's not a rational faith. It's a blind faith that I deserve. So therefore, it will happen to me. And when it doesn't, your ego grows and say, yeah, I don't want to do anything else. Life doesn't fit. I don't like it. I'm not going to do that. I was not made to work on this job. Oh, how many times we foreigners in this country said that. Oh, yes. What we need to do. And we learn. I had two choices at Disney when I start. One was to be a lifeguard, another one to be a custodial, which is a fancy name for janitor. And both of them were very honorable because you learn with them. I chose lifeguard because by the time I swim good. And you know, sometimes when I was in the middle at 6 a.m. in the morning in front of frozen pool trying to do laps because I need to do it every month, I was like, maybe being a janitor is not so bad. And so again, the Damascus as a janitor changed as my journey evolved. Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends? So, if the Damascus is enemies and the journey is to make them friends, the end is going to be finding a friend. Abraham Lincoln. So, was not even, we don't go this way because this be a speculation, but as we know, he was not spiritist. So, but you don't need to be spiritist, you need to be human to understand humans. You need to understand how we function and how we can do better. So, if I make somebody that doesn't like me my friend, he's not really my enemy anymore. And all the energy that I got from him and from the others will just raise my level, will pump my game. We tend to look too much to the end and not to the beginning. And we don't understand that when something ends, something else will begin. We get stuck to the end. And that is really hard. And that's how we were wired since we left the caves when like 300,000 years ago. We need to look at the sources of danger. Otherwise, T-Rex just eat you and good luck in the next incarnation. But now we're still looking for danger instead of trying to understand that life can be better than just signals of, oh, he can harm you, that is not good. Because your focus directs you to what you see and will give you more of the same. So when you program this to be better and changing, if you're repeating the same kind of thoughts over and over and you know that those thoughts are sabotaging you, change. That is this tale that says that when people from a company showed up to work, there was a sign. Today, the person that gives you the most problems in this company die. And you're going to know who it is by 2 p.m. at the gymnasium. At 2 p.m., the whole company was lined up to see who was that person that was giving them so much trouble. One at a time, got to the coffin, look, shut up, and move. When they got to the coffin, who did they see?
Themselves? It was a mirror.
Themselves. Because you are the most powerful enemy of yours. You break yourself many times a week, many times a day, and sometimes many times in one period. Why? Because we have this tendency. Don't trust, don't believe, don't have faith, so far and so on. We tend to mourn ends when we should celebrate beginnings. Somebody's going stay with you for a long time and you guys separated. Well, if you're not open for somebody else to join you at your journey, you're going to be by yourself for a long time because you keep mourning forever. Why? Now you're open to a new challenge or to change. Are we on Team Saul or Team Paul? Everybody's going to say, I'm on Team Paul. For real? Are we still focused on the visible world, the here and now, or we have begun to transition to an invisible and spiritual one? Of course, we're not going to live all the time there, but there are so many clues that the daily things that happens to us give us that are not material, that are not to use right here and now. Is to understand better. To understand that a problem can be a solution if you ask for help, as I just did. And otherwise, we will not have this presentation here and now. But you have to foresee something bigger. And you have to ask for help from your friends. They are more skilled than you. And this is for yourself inside as well, not just for the material side of yourself. When we are so attached to the image of the nailed Christ on the cross, that this image overshadows the image of the resurrected Christ. The pain is harder or is more powerful than the miracle itself, than the grace itself. We tend to fix in things that are not helpful, and we miss what is helpful that we can use. But it's so little. Yes, try to light a match in a dark room and see what happens. The match is so little, but what happens to the room? All of a sudden, you start recognizing things, and it's gonna end because it's so tiny. Yeah, but while it's open, the fire is there, you can see that's an aid. But if you don't do it, because it's so small and it's not gonna light up the whole room, again, it's your expectation. Do you expect to have everything in once? You're getting too much. I remember I was giving a class to a company that the owner is fascinated about being fit. By the time he was looking for losing 0.003% of fat. I just hate him just because of that. It's like, really? And when I asked, what is your goal? He was the first one to say that. But then in the end, there was somebody jumping like the donkey at the Shrek. Pick me, pick me, pick me. And when I asked him what was his goal, he said, every day above the ground is a great day. Isn't it easier to be happy like this than trying to lose 0.03% of fat in your body? What is the expectation that you put for yourself? If it's too hard, that's what you're going to get. Make it easier for yourself. One day at a time, one step at a time. Start with the easy steps. Don't go crazy on it. When we hear the thoughts of Christ, we think about, oh, I'm never going to do that. Yeah, because I'm never going to be closer to Christ. Of course you won't. But if you do baby steps, you can get better. Don't try to be Christ from today to tomorrow. It's not going to happen. But try to get better from today to tomorrow. Every day get better than yesterday. Then you are moving to some great Damascus. Too much focus on what not to do, that overshadows the good news. That's normally what we do. So what is our Damascus? The universe always gives us the tools before we need them, right? We have always had unexpected messengers that have helped us to refocus and rethink our ways. What was COVID-19? Normally we ask for somebody to come in. Oh, my. COVID was just a messenger. Look to the inside. Outside is bad as it is. If you don't look to the inside, you're not going to change the outside. They would do that? Not really. Technological developments took us far from the craziest dreams. But when we realize that we need to use them differently than we have used so far, we can use AI for a different thing. We can use AI to help people. We can use AI to find solutions that we cannot find because AI can cross information as faster than nothing in the world. But use AI to get more money, use AI to get richer than somebody, we're still not using the right way. Audio, please.
There is nothing as powerful as a changed mind. You can change your hair, your clothing, your address, your spouse, your residence. But if you don't change your mind, the same experience will perpetuate itself over and over again because everything outwardly changed, but nothing inwardly changed.
If you want something out of life, if If you want to change yourself, if you want to acquire something, if there's some goal that you want to reach, changing your behaviors, overcoming negative habits, it's challenging. It's hard. Most people go through life never discovering what their talents are. Most people never develop their talents.
The only thing that's going to make you happy, my friend, in this year or any other, is to step up. It's to raise the standard. It's to discover what you're capable of and feel that incredible power of pushing through whatever's holding you back and get to the other side of more of your true self. That's what this game's all about.
When you step into your fears and continue to push yourself to go on, something happens for you.
If you look at somebody who's really successful and you think, wow, I mean, they're so amazing, they're such a genius, you gotta dig underneath and you gotta remember something. People are rewarded in public for what they've practiced for years in private.
If you don't develop the courage to do that which has been given you to do, and you spend a lot of time going around trying to convince other people or trying to get their approval, what will happen is that you will lose your nerve. And other people will convince you that what you're doing doesn't have any value, and you'll give up on your dream. How much time do you have left? How much time do you have left? When you start thinking about that, we don't know. Most of us don't use the stuff that we have brought into the universe. Stop wasting valuable time. If you want something, you have got to be relentless. You've got to learn how to become resourceful. You've got to learn how to become creative. The power to hold on in spite of everything, the power to endure. This is the winner's quality. The hunger, the ability to face defeat again and again without giving up. This is a winner's quality. What this power is, I cannot say. All I know is that it exists. And it becomes available only when a man or a woman is in that state of mind in which he or she knows exactly what he or she wants and is fully determined not to quit until they find it. There's greatness in you, and you've got to learn how to tune out the critics outside and the critic inside. I'm going to harness my will, and I'm not going to let anything stop me. I deserve this. Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful. There's nothing as powerful. It's hard to kill the human spirit. You are unstoppable. Live your life with passion, with some drive. Most of us go through life with our brakes on, holding back. Decide that you're going to push yourself. You've got to focus on you. And as you convince you, as you sell yourself, every day, you will begin to see a difference in the things that you're doing. Selling yourself on your ability to perform a job, to achieve a certain objective. Telling yourself every day, here I go again. And I got what it takes. This is my day, and nothing out here is going to stop me.
This is what the motivators in the world tells us. And that is exactly what Spiritism has been telling, but with the different lenses. It's not just get better in life, in material life. It's get better in your spiritual life. This is my day. This is my day to do something. This is my day to do the best that I can. How can I help my fellow friends, my fellow enemies, my fellow peers? How can I help somebody today? How can I make somebody feel better? Therefore, as we have the opportunity, let us do all good to people, especially to those who belong to the family of believers. This is Paul on the Galatians. I'm not asking for confetti here, just for you to realize, was that a good talk? It only happened because I had help. And it only happened because I kept my cool. And it only happened because I faced one thing that could be disaster for so many. You keep your cool. You have faith in yourself. I also told Tim, and I would do it without a presentation. It would be really not that good. It would be good. But all the slides and videos, they do have a function in this lecture. So believe. Don't give up. Life will throw you a lot of lemons. Make it a lemonade. Don't give up. Thank you.